Spring is around the corner, so today we're doing some fun spring crafts. I love how these turned out, and I hope you do too. Let's get started. I got this pot from the Dollar Tree, and I am going to go ahead and punch out the drainage holes because I will be planting some flowers in it here this spring. And I'm sort of putting the cart before the horse here, starting to glue this moss onto the pot when I should have probably done a different step first, but it didn't make any difference. And I do, as I'm gluing this on here, I am trimming it up as I go. I'm using this sort of generic Dremel tool that I got from Harbor Freight. And I'm going to drill 2 holes, one toward the top and one toward the bottom. And these are the holes for the fake handle that we're making. We're making this look like a giant teacup. You could use a drill for this step. You could possibly, depending on the thickness of your pot, use a knife to make the holes here for your handle. But this Dremel tool from Harbor Freight was very affordable. And what we're going to do to make the base of the handle for our giant teacup is just some twist ties. So I'm just using 2 twist ties, the longer size from Dollar Tree. Once I got that the way that I wanted it, I'm just taking a load of hot glue here and just going to secure those from the inside and hold that till that glue sets up. Now I'm just covering these ugly zip ties here with some moss and just really going to do multiple layers so you can no longer see those zip ties. I do go a little bit inside of the pot, not very far down, just so you won't be, it'll look like the moss continues all the way down on the inside and you can't see that plastic. That turned out really cute, but the teacup needs a saucer. So I got this plate from the Dollar Tree as well, and I'm just going to, and I keep having in mind that I'm going to be using this for a real flower in this pot. So I'm just going to go around the edges to where when I put the pot on the plate, you can't see the white. And so you can see here I keep testing to see if the pot hides the white underneath there. So I just keep going with it until I put enough moss on there. It needed just a little something extra, and so I'm taking these flowers that I believe I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just going to put a couple and glue them to this mossy rock from Dollar Tree to raise those flowers up a little bit and just basically give them a base to be glued to. And anything, there's lots of little cute things you could do with this and add to this. You could turn it into a fairy house. You could just simply tie some twine around it, or put some rocks in the bottom, or just there's all kinds of things that you could do. Maybe add some butterflies, just anything out in nature I think would be pretty to add to this. For this one, I bought these dried flowers off of Amazon, and it was $14.99, so $15 for these neutral colors, and they had all sorts of different sort of color palettes, color groupings there, and I just wanted to show you that. And I have this frame from the Dollar Tree. It's one of their certificate frames, and I'm going to need two because I'm going to need 2 sheets of glass, but just one frame. I'm painting that frame with Truffle by Waverly, some chalk paint, and then going to cover that with European Gold Rub and Buff. And I'm simply going to sandwich the dried flowers in between the 2 sheets of glass. I didn't have any rhyme or reason. You can look at examples of these on Pinterest. I just, sort of wanted to do the larger flowers in the center, fill in with the smaller flowers, and put the more sort of feathery flowers around the edges to sort of stick out along the edges there. But this was my first time doing this. I'm not very good at floral design or design in general. I'm not that good at it. And so, if I can do it, you can do it. And you can just keep redoing it. If you had maybe a mirror that you could put underneath the project where you could keep raising it up and just looking at it to see that you were even, it surprised me how I couldn't really tell what it looked like. Even though I was looking down at it, I still wanted to keep flipping it over to look at it. But so a mirror would have helped that. But you could, redo it as many times as you need to until you get it to have the look that you want. Using this frame, you will see the metal tabs through the glass. And on my last video, I removed those because I could see through the glass. I removed those and just used tape, and you could do that, but I didn't mind the look of those tabs. I thought they weren't that distracting and didn't take away from the piece in my mind, so I just left them. This is just a quick reminder that if you're liking this video, click that thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to do that so you don't miss any future crafts. Let's get back to these DIYs. For this one, I'm using this, I believe it was tuna fish, either tuna fish or crab or chicken. I can't remember now. Just a little food can that I've washed and kept. And I pushed some floral foam down in there. And I'm also using this 18 gauge wire that I got from Walmart. And I'm just showing you here on the Walmart app. It costed $4.28 for this roll of it. And it really didn't take much. I have a lot more wire for future projects. And I'm cutting some pieces into just over a foot length. I like this gauge of wire. It's thick enough to where it holds up and it doesn't bend too easily, but it's also very easy to bend by hand and very easy to cut. So I think, if a person had maybe arthritis or just, not a whole lot of strength, I feel like, they could still work with this wire quite easily. It was very easy to work with. I'm just taking these pieces and pushing them down into this floral foam, and I'll be securing that a little more later on. But it's obvious here I'm making a little bird cage, and the idea here is for it to not look perfect, but it to look a little bit whimsical. I'm taking this much thinner wire here and going to secure the top pieces, make them all the pieces together here, and just wrap that around and around until they're all sort of locked in place. I'm taking the hot glue and just generously going around where the wire, goes into this can here and letting that set up, and I'm giving it a coat of this spray paint from Walmart that I got that's called Champagne Bronze by Rustoleum. And now I'm going to make a little chandelier to hang inside of the bird cage. And I'm just taking that same 18 gauge wire and cut 3 pieces. You could also use fish hooks. If you had like large fish hooks, you could sort of snip off the sharp pointy end and use one of those for this, because when I got done with it, it reminded me of fish hooks. But just taking 3 of those, and I'm going to secure it with tape before I wrap some wire around that to put those 3 pieces together. I have this old necklace here, and I'm going to remove some of these little beads, and I'm going to hold them up here for you to see them a little more clearly. I thought they would be good to be sort of the candle cups on this chandelier, and I'm using toothpicks, just regular old toothpicks, to cut down to make the candles. I used E6000 to put all that together. It's holding up very nicely. And I also put this bead on the top of the chandelier. It just seemed like it needed to be finished off with something. So I added a little bead on the top of the chandelier. And then I'm also taking a larger wooden bead, and I'm going to put that on the top. It's going to act as sort of like a finial to the top there. And I also just went ahead and put that wire through that was holding the chandelier as well. And I wanted to wrap that around. I didn't want the chandelier just to be glued, and so I didn't want the bead just to be glued. I wanted it all sort of be attached by wire as well. And so I did that, and then I just added a couple of extra pieces of wire just to make it look more like it was on purpose, and it wasn't, just to sort of make it look like it's whimsical, and just sort of like, quite a few wires up top, like it's purposeful. And so I did that, and I just added some little extra pieces of wire that were bent in the top there, just decorative, with some E6000 that I put down in the hole of that bead. I went out and gave that a coat of the gold paint just so it had a cohesive look. And I wasn't going to do wicks on the candles because they're so tiny, but I just couldn't stand it that I could tell that there were no wicks on the candles. So I went and got just some white thread and some glue and just held the little pieces of thread on there till the glue set up enough to where I could pull the tweezers away. And then I don't regret doing that. I think it does look better with some little tiny wicks on those little teeny tiny candles. The birdhouse needs an inhabitant, so we're going to put a little nest down in the bottom of the bird cage here, just with some Spanish moss from the Dollar Tree. You could, get some vines or some, bendable, malleable sticks or something and make a much nicer looking nest. But I like these Spanish moss nests pretty good. So just for our bird, I'm just putting a little paper bird inside of there. So I had some small scrapbook paper, some little 6x6 sheets, or they might have been 4x4. I'm not sure. But now I'm just going to make sure that it's double-sided, and I'm also going to sandwich a piece of wire down inside of that bird so that we can stick the wire down into the floral foam so it'll stand up there inside the nest in the center. I decided that the bird would look better with some wings, so I'm just using the same paper, and so that the wings would stand out and you could actually see them, I took a stain pen and I'm just going to outline that so that it'll pop off of the bird there, and just gluing that as well with some glue stick. I did decide that the candles would look a little bit better white. I don't know if I don't know, I went back and forth on that. I kind of liked how they looked gold and everything was the same color. But I did think that it needed a little bit of trim around that can, so it looked a little less like a can. So I added some Dollar Tree ribbon there to just outline the top. And that's it for this one. I just love this one. It's so pretty. And it is a little bit whimsical, sort of like how the pot, the moss pot was whimsical as well. So I really like these crafts, and I hope you enjoyed them as well. Thank you so much for watching. With the season changing, I'm looking forward to doing more spring crafts, as well as just everyday home decor crafts, and I have some organization DIYs on the horizon as well. But thank you for hanging out today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.